Episode 50 of the R.O.T.I podcast, guys. Welcome in. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about the different types of procrastination and what exactly does your return on time investment mean, otherwise known as R.O.T.I. Now, as we round the corner and as we record episode 50, I just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out to love to say this has been an incredible experience thus far. To be on episode 50 already is insanely awesome. Thank you guys. We're going to have a great episode coming your way, and stay tuned.
This is the Advisor Odyssey audio experience, where financial advisors, planners, insurance agents, and brokers will find fresh new ideas and perspectives around what it takes to launch, succeed, scale, and bulletproof their business.
Hey guys, quick note here. I'm going to be recording a podcast episode to air somewhere around May 31st, where we're going to be talking about advisor websites. And as part of that show, I'm actually going to be doing an audit on whomever wants to send me their website to actually look through, scan through, and give my real feedback on. So if you're interested in getting some totally genuine, honest, and free feedback on how I think that your website looks, how it functions, how it could be better, and actually get some tangible advice that you could take back to your website designer, whomever that may be, please send me the link to your website via whether it's social media or if it's an email, whatever it is. Send me your website and I'll give it a quick look over. So let's not procrastinate in talking about the types of procrastination, right? This is, some of you might have heard a lot of these terms before. I did not come up with this. I'm going to be really clear on that. I've gathered information that I've heard from around different sources and some different articles and readings and such that I found. And I put it together to consolidate it because I think it's really valuable for not only financial advisors, but just business owners in general. And even honestly, not business owners. It's important for anyone, I think, in all facets of life. So procrastination, though, there's really three core types of procrastination that I've experienced and I've seen and I've read about. Now, there is, and the very first type is the classic procrastination that we probably all think about. It's, consciously delaying what you know you need to do and what you should do to do something else instead. And everyone's a victim of this, at some point or another. There's a reason why it's called classic procrastination. It's what everyone pictures and what everyone thinks about when you say the word procrastination, because it affects everyone. Now, this, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about classic procrastination, but just know that's only one type. It's not the only kind. Our second type of procrastination is what I've coined here as creative avoidance. Now, creative avoidance procrastination is when you're essentially subconsciously filling your day with trivial work. And while you experience the payoff of feeling busy, you were so busy today, you did all these things, when you ultimately get to the end of the day, you realize that you just felt busy, but you seemingly didn't really accomplish anything of value or, of major value at all. Everything you accomplished was entirely minimal. This type of procrastination it's very relevant. It runs rampant all the time. And I've realized that in conversations I've had, again, not just with advisors, but with entrepreneurs, with high-performing individuals, with friends and family, regardless, it's the amount of times someone says to you, and you've said this before, I know, I'm so busy. I just feel so busy. I just can't get enough done in my day. The reality is that there is so many incredibly successful people in this world. And what a lot of them have in common at a core is how they spend their time. There's I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but Richard Branson owns more businesses than he has weeks in the year. I believe it's days in the year. So he literally cannot spend even one day interacting with one of the businesses he owns. How in the world does he stay sane, first and foremost, not overly stressed out? And how does he tackle tasks that need to get done? Now, he might not be the best example because he's obviously very, very wealthy. He can probably pay a lot of people, and he does pay a lot of people to help him manage these things. However, the point is, when you start your day by prioritizing what actually needs to get done, you tend to at least think about doing it. But when you go one step further and not just lay out the three things that need to get done or two things or one thing, But if you actually make it to where those are the first 3 things you do, or the first 2 things, first 1 thing you do, the rest of your day seems to go a lot smoother, and you tend to feel a lot more accomplished, and you feel less, quote unquote, busy. When we work in an office type setting, or in your case, maybe you're not in an office, but you're, basically technology, you've got emails, right? If you start your day by opening up your emails and looking through all these, all the different emails you got, odds are you're going to find emails that you need to answer. Someone's going to ask you a question that you're going to want to dig into, or someone's going to ask you to do a task, or someone's going to ask you to follow up with someone that you maybe haven't followed up with in a long time. And you'll say, oh, I need to review what we last talked about. These are all items that they're trivial, right? Some of them might be important, at the end of the day, but ultimately they're probably trivial. So when you actually identify specific things that you need to do, your main tasks for the day, and I would always recommend just starting with what is the one thing you need to do today to make it entirely successful. If you do not do this one thing today, it is a wasted day to you. Start with that. I remember growing up, whenever it came to chores and, whether it was, working outside or inside, I would always think to myself, how much can I get done before noon? Because to me, I broke my day down into 2 aspects, before noon and then afternoon. And if I could get everything done before noon, I seemingly felt like the afternoon was so much better. But when I put things off and suddenly it hit the PM, that's when I started to struggle with getting things done quickly, efficiently, and I would find myself prioritizing other tasks that were trivial. So again, this is creative avoidance is the term that I've used to describe this and that I've heard. But it is ultimately the feeling of doing things just because you want to be busy and you feel like you've accomplished stuff, but you never accomplished the primary thing. Our third type of procrastination is what I'm calling priority dilution. This type of procrastination has nothing to do with being lazy, but it does create the same net result of someone who is lazy. At the end of the day, your most significant priorities are left incomplete if you suffer from priority dilution. And the reason why is because you shifted your focus away from the significant and towards the priority. So this stems from the last one that I was talking about, the second type of procrastination. But this one is more impactful long-term because when you don't focus on the significant, instead you focus on the priority, you tend to get yourself in a bind to where you're always doing the thing that's most urgent. But oftentimes the most urgent, and I say urgent as in time sensitive, isn't the most significant task. There's countless philosophers, countless authors who talk about the importance of just like having an actual mind, like a clear headspace to begin your day. When you feel rushed, you tend to make poor decisions. Confused people make bad decisions. So when you're rushed and you're confused, you'll never make a good decision. So by prioritizing what needs to get done from the perspective of what's the most significant, you're in a better position to succeed anyways. So to wrap that up, the 3 types of procrastination that are really in existence, in my opinion, the first and foremost is the classic procrastination we all know. The second is creative avoidance. And the third would be priority dilution. What's up, guys? If you're enjoying all this great content, be sure to check out our other content platforms for more and different types of content all around ways that you can become a better advisor. Things like marketing, sales process development, client experience. Maybe it's managing your team and your advisors better. Whatever it is, be sure to check out our social media profiles. You can find us at Advisor Odyssey across most every single platform that you're likely using. If you're looking for some more in-depth written out articles and blog posts, you can find that both on Medium by searching again at Advisor Odyssey, and then also on LinkedIn on my personal page, Daniel Hodajak. It's on these social media platforms where you can send in your questions, your feedback, your thoughts, and then I will then take that, formulate it, and I will try to create, maybe it's an entire podcast episode, another post that's specifically designed to help you answer the question that you are sending in. Again, that can be a direct message, it can be an email. Whatever it is, feel free, ask the question. I'll give you my best insight, and then hopefully it can make a huge difference in your business. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the episode. As we move forward into the return on time investment, your R.O.T.I, I want to be clear and say that this directly relates to the procrastination types. ROTI, though, return on time investment, if you're not familiar with the concept, you've not talked about or heard it before, which if you haven't, that's okay. It's actually fairly widely unknown. It's not something that a lot of people talk about, so it is fairly foreign. But if your ROTI is higher, it's because you spent time doing something today that creates more time for you in the future. So the ROTI question to ask yourself would be, will spending my time and effort doing this activity today create more time for me in the future? If that answer is yes, then do it, because that is how you multiply your time. But if that answer is no, stop and think about a better way to do it, or if you should even do it at all. I'm going to revisit what I said about the most successful people, at least that I know. They tend to always have time in their day to do things. That's because they've set up the equation prior to where their time is multiplied. This is, a reason why AI, it's so big, it's so popular. People want to streamline things. They want to build processes around things, and that's great. But the reason why they want to do that is not because they want to do the same work over and over and over again. So they can simplify it. They can shorten the time it takes to do it. So by building a process around whatever the core activity is that you do in your day, by streamlining that, by building a process around it, wow, that's great in and of itself. But if that process can suddenly shave off 10 minutes every day of doing it, if that 15-minute task suddenly becomes 5 minutes, you've multiplied your time. Now you've got 10 free minutes in every day. If that task that takes you an hour to do, if you can streamline that, it only takes 10 minutes, but you spent a couple hours on the front end doing that task and building that process around it, well, then now you're saving time in the long run. You're saving 50 minutes every day. Now, what most people don't like to hear and what they don't like doing is initially building out that process, building out that streamline, building out that time multiplier. And albeit I understand it, I suffer from that myself. But when you do that, using that same math, if you spend one day, so let's call it 8 hours, building out something that's supposed to save you time in the long run, that 50 minutes you save per day, yeah, you spent 8 hours doing it, but now you're looking at basically 10 business days later, you're a net positive on your time, because now you've crossed that threshold, you're saving time. So look at the activities you do in your day, look at your life, whether it's personal or professional, and figure out where can you multiply your time. This entire phenomenon of multiplying your time, it occurs simply because someone has realized that multiplying their time is way more valuable than spending their time. It's really just that simple. If you can wake up in the morning and think about what you need to do tomorrow as opposed to what you need to do today, you've been successful at it. If you can wake up saying, here's what's on my plate next week, or here's what I can do next month, again, you're successful with it. So as you continue to multiply your time, you will continuously not only get that time back in the day, but you'll feel more free. You'll be able to take on more responsibilities. You'll be able to do more things, try new things, build more businesses, meet with more people. Whatever it is that you're seeking, you'll be able to do it. Here's a bonus tip. The number one way to multiply your time is to build a strong reputation. The less time you have to spend selling someone on why you can help them or why you should help them or telling them what you do, and you let your reputation speak for itself, that's time back. So guys, that's all I have for you today. This was a little different episode than typical, but achieving a high return on your time investment is a major, major fix in most people's businesses with all the problems that they might have. And then procrastination, yeah, it fits the same vein. It runs rampant. It's a big deal, and it affects everyone. So thanks for listening, guys.
We hope you enjoyed the Advisor Odyssey audio experience. Connect with us on your favorite social media platforms at Advisor Odyssey. You can find our full-length educational videos to watch on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out all our articles and publications on medium.com/Advisor Odyssey. The Advisor Odyssey podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The contents and opinions shared, expressed, or otherwise alluded to on the Advisor Odyssey podcast and audio experience are solely ideas and not to be depicted as tax, legal, or investment advice. Results from the use of these concepts may not be representative of the experience of all financial professionals and are no guarantee of future success. Your results may vary. The Advisor Odyssey and its affiliated members are not to be held liable or responsible for any lawful recourse or punishment invoked upon the individual or accompanying business partners or team members. Federal law, state law, and/or insurance carrier requirements may prohibit or place limitations on any of the ideas and activities expressed. All advisors, planners, wholesalers, affiliated reps, and investment advisors should be aware of any limitations imposed by federal regulation, state regulation, insurance carriers, broker-dealers, and registered investment advisors as applicable. Investment advisors are strongly encouraged to obtain pre-approval from the broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, insurance company, or similar institution with which they may be affiliated.